What's up, strongest men, women, and children from blocks all around the world? I am my block's strongest man, and tonight I have for you an extra special guest, the incomparable Jessica FITHEN.
Ciao, homie.
Welcome back to My Block's Strongest Man, where we bring strongman into the mainstream by discussing all of the latest strongman events in the greatest analytic detail that you'll find anywhere on YouTube. If you haven't done so yet, subscribe to this channel. Make sure to comment below whether you agree or disagree with my videos. I love the engagement, and I respond to every single comment. Now on to today's topic. Going back to your record breaking attempt, or your record breaker, you broke, as you said, it was 185.6 pound overhead press record. And normally I would say, oh, you smashed and killed and feel I'm offending people, but it's your own record you broke, so it's okay.
Right. Now, it'd be fun to see if like, with the other women that have really super high presses, just because you're good at log doesn't mean you're good at block. Just because you're good at circus dumbbell doesn't mean you're good at axle. Some people are funnily not good at everything, which has been kind of interesting for me to learn.
Yeah. So, I mean, the one thing I was wondering is, because I'm really good with calculators, that's almost a 19% jump over your previous record. So why shoot so high? Is it like Eddie Hall syndrome? Like, I don't want people to beat my record for a number of years?
I don't. No, definitely not. Actually, I kind of beat you to the question. My bad. I actually think a lot of people probably could if they really, really trained it. It's a very niche lift. But I did the other record, the first one, a couple of years ago. And so when I was talking to Paul about redoing it this year, I was like, I bet I can do a lot more, Paul. And he was like, yeah, you really probably can, because it's been a couple of years since you've even trained it. So everyone theoretically is probably stronger 2 years later than they were 2 years prior to that. So when I started retraining the block just for this one event, I got to basically the world record, which was the 185 or whatnot, whatever it was. I got to it in training within the first 2 weeks, and it was not a big deal. And I was like, oh. So then I start wondering, like with the calculations, like what that actually looks like. And Kale, my coach, is actually the one that basically picked the attempts for me. And he was just based on kind of what they looked like and factoring in, your nerves and your adrenaline and all that stuff that you just can't sometimes predict exactly what's going to happen. And I've got a janky elbow, and I don't know if people know that, or if this is even good to talk about, but probably not.
It is, because it's my next question. Go ahead.
All right, go for it. I'm getting ahead of you again.
Yeah, no, it's all good. So, I was just going to say, so you were smashing the record in prep, because I was watching your prep, obviously, and making spotlight video about you. And so in the live chat, they were like, oh, Jessica's going to make her attempt. What's going to happen? And I'm telling people, like, have you watched her Instagram at all? She's going to do this, no question, And then you mentioned to me later on Instagram, like, I have elbow issues. So let's elaborate on that a little bit.
So last year, I already went through the story of how dumb it was to probably try to do all these record breakers while I was competing in the pro show. So without making that story really long, I was doing the actual Arnold Pro for the women, which was 6 events over 2 days. Or might be 5 events. I don't remember now. I think it's 5 over 2 days in Columbus. And then Rogue offered all of these record breakers, which, I want to do because I like these things. So they were offering a circus dumbbell record, and they were offering a log record. And then the actual competition had a circus dumbbell in it. So in March of last year, I was doing probably the equivalent of just too much on my arm. And so I've never really had overhead issues. I've had some rotator cuff problems, but they've always gone away. Somewhere in like January or February of last year, I was actually benching, of all things. I know, right? I don't even hurt myself doing strongman. I'm benching, of all things. And at the very top of my lockout, I basically felt my elbow joint like shift. It didn't necessarily hurt very much. It was enough to make me stop what I was doing. And so pretty much ever since then, I've had to do like all of these one rep max attempts on my arm, on my right arm particularly. And it's just been, I think it's been mostly overuse, and I've seen a doctor and I've seen surgeons and everything else. And they've basically told me that I just need to manage it. There's no surgery to really fix it, which is kind of wild. I figured I would just go and get surgery and they would just put it back where it's to go. And it was like, no. Yeah. Elbows are really funky. They're just the joint. They don't want to induce like a lot of additional trauma to the elbow joint. It's different than like if you have a detached bicep, like clearly they're going to go and staple it back up or whatever they do, But if you've got joint problems, it's really hit or miss kind of what they want to do about it. So I've done a lot of occupational therapy for it and whatnot. But the thing is, I don't know that I can do any more world record attempts on my right arm with a dumbbell. So I'm starting to train for the dumbbell on my left arm, which I did America's Strongest Woman. They had a dumbbell. And so I actually just ended up doing it on my left arm. I don't think my left arm is actually weaker. I just think I'm less coordinated and I'm not quite as comfortable with it. But we're going to try to train for the world record attempt again at the Arnold. The world record was 180 and I managed to get it all the way up. And then of course with my elbow, it just came right back down. So I was right there basically. So I had it, I couldn't maintain it at the top. And it's a story in and of itself, the backstage for all of that, but we're going to try to do it again and kind of train it on the left side and kind of see where it goes. So I don't know if that's stupid or not, but we're going to see how stupid it is here. Pretty
exciting.
Soon. Right.
No,
I don't know.
Somebody actually told me that you were attempting that. I thought it was Clash at the Coast, but yeah, I heard about that. Oh, it is.
Yeah, it is. Well, I had done it at me and a woman named San Bellevue from Canada, actually, because we both did it at the Arnold, and so Anthony Furman actually gave us the opportunity if we wanted to come and do it again as basically the exhibition, kind of what they did at Mammoth during the show there, that we were welcome to come and do that. So. Again, all the pro shows are canceled. And as of this minute, there's no full shows scheduled until August. So as an athlete, it's been really difficult to kind of stay motivated for all this stuff. Cause like, what do you do? Like, it's one thing to just train events, but it's very, I'm still motivated to train and I very much am, but it's just not the same exact type of pressure to kind of get to numbers where you need to be and that sort of a thing. So when promoters are offering the opportunity for us to come and do things like this, if I'm able to get there, I'm probably going to take the chance. So we'll see what the left arm is capable of. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see if I can do it on my left side.
Is he streaming that? Because I want to see it.
I think so. I think he is actually. Nice. So yeah, it's going to be a really cool show. He's got a lot of big stuff planned there. So we're already his marketing for it and stuff has already been really cool to watch. But he's doing that with Strength League Collective, which is the new organization business that he's doing.
Cool. I don't know if you heard, but Corey Butler's going there too to attempt the axle.
She was one of the ones that I was like, Corey missed the heavyweight axle by just a couple of pounds. I think she had cleaned it or something and just needed to press out at the top. And I was like, you've got 3 months to gain like 7 pounds on your axle press. Like, what are you doing? So Corey's one of my really good friends in the sport. So it's excited to kind of see her there again. And once you get to be really good friends with some of these people, it's a lot of fun. It's just like a little reunion every 5 months. So that's one of the things I've enjoyed a lot about the sport.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's okay to say because she said it on the interview that I did with her, but there was a little miscommunication. She was told she had the record. So
yeah, it's one of those strongman things where they've got, strongman's a funny sport that we try to be standardized with some of this stuff, but we also don't want to be standardized. And it's kind of this middle ground between records, what kind of records, because, even things like a dumbbell, there's opportunity for people to argue that different circus dumbbells are easier or harder, or you did a world record on a dumbbell that only has a 2-inch handle and mine has a 2.5. And so clearly that's harder. And it's like, how in the weeds do we really want to get? And that's a whole conversation. But Corey's thing was, she was doing basically the SC like pro heavyweight record, and the actual world record that the most anyone has ever done is a little slight higher than that. It's not a whole lot higher than that, but it is definitely higher than that from a girl in England, I think. Yeah. So it's just the dumbbell, though. It's a good point that Sam from Canada and I, when Anthony Furman asked us if we wanted to do this, we very much both talked to each other first, and then we both agreed that we wanted to use the same dumbbell that they used at the Arnold, just for continuity with the same type of equipment. It is not my favorite dumbbell to press before people think that I'm giving myself an advantage. It is very much not my favorite dumbbell to press, but Sam and I both own basically a Rogue Monster circus dumbbell replica. We got it from Valkyrie Strength in Canada, which is a very cool company if people haven't heard of them yet. But they make basically similar dumbbells to this one. And so we both have one, but it was important to us that we use the same one. They had set the actual highest record that's ever been done, which it's a tie between Donna and Kristen right now. But okay. That's the type of stuff that we're trying to do. It's not an exact science. But it's one of those things where if either one of us hit it that day, I don't want people saying, well, you use this dumbbell and those are easier. Or, Bartos makes a really cool dumbbell. Mike Bartos, or at least he used to, made a one that was like a globe. And I find that one's the easiest one for me to press because the handle is smaller and I just think it's easier to grip. But in any event, how much that matters at world record numbers, probably not as much as we'd like to think. But there are certainly dumbbells that are easier to me to press than other ones. But I didn't want any of that. I don't want the possibility of any of that. So let's just use the same ones that they did.
Yeah, I could totally understand that. Is that particular Rogue dumbbell, is it a 2.5?
It is 2.5 or 2 3/4. It's pretty big. Yeah, it's probably 2.5. And it's the 10-inch one. It's called a monster dumbbell. Before I had gotten to the Arnold in March of last year, I had never actually used it. I had used one that was kind of similar, but not quite. So I went into the Rogue record breaker arena, actually never having touched that particular dumbbell. Welcome to strongman, right? Is that not the most strongman thing in the world? But this time I actually have one that is basically the same one. So I'm able to train with actually the same piece of equipment. So we'll see how much of a difference, if any, that actually makes.
Yeah. And then would you say that record would be 180, 185? So
it's currently 180, and Kristen and Donna both did 180 at the Arnold last year. So Rogue does it as for reps event, but they only got 1 rep. So they're tied. So the record for Sam and I think we both agreed that we would need to go up 5 pounds, which is what they had been doing. So we're going to try for 185, which is
okay.
Sounds
That's
like
a lot of weight. That's a lot of weight. I mean, okay.
It sounds like a lot to me. I don't know.
Just for all the uninitiated among my audience, I was out in the garage before trying my max 85, not 185.
Yeah. So I had to do submission videos for that, and I pressed 175 in a submission video. So I know I can get pretty close, and I know on my right arm that was all jacked up that I got it up where it needed to be. I just couldn't lock the elbow right in place. So I don't think it's out of my realm. We still have about 11 weeks. So I don't think it's it's going to be a lot different than the block, which the block I could tell very quickly was like, oh, this is, I don't know how high I'm going, but it's definitely going to be higher than what it was. This is definitely, this is up there. This is up there at the actual, top end of what people are doing on a circus dumbbell period in the women's class. So Sam and I are both gonna gun for it and just see what happens. And, no guts, no glory with some of this stuff. And, if you don't make it, if you never try, you don't know. And so I've lost stuff before. I've lost records before. I've not made stuff, but at least you're out here pushing yourself, trying to stay, involved, especially with all of our shows canceled. So whatever happens, it's going to happen, and that's going to be okay.
Yep. Yeah. Awesome. So one thing that I was wondering also, have you ever had, you talked about your elbow, any other kind of serious injuries and stories about how you worked through them? I think that's kind of inspiring for people.
Yeah, I have all the dumbest injuries you could possibly imagine. Never doing strongman. This is how it goes, right? So not doing strongman, people are always like, you're going to hurt yourself doing strongman. It's like, no, I don't. I don't hurt myself doing strongman. I hurt myself. One time I hurt myself putting farmer implements away. I smashed them on my toe. I'm done working out, right? I'm putting them away and I smashed my foot. And do you know that you cannot press with a broken pinky? Like your pinky toe? It's almost impossible to do overhead pressing with a broken toe. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. And it's just like, no. And then I fell because I'm really coordinated. I'm a very balanced, gifted ballerina, honestly, a little bit. I fell in a parking lot one time, which left this massive, I still have nerve damage basically in my quad right above my knee. And then I made it worse because I dropped an axle bar on it one time. Okay, that one counts. That one counts as a strongman injury, but it's not as bad as the other one. So it's really funny. And then I hurt my back doing barbell underhand rows of all things. You know what I'm saying? Accessory work is the devil for a variety of reasons. I don't hurt myself doing strongman stuff. It's just all accessories, but nothing like super major. But actually I was doing these underhand barbell rows, and I had like a twinge in my back. And this was for like OSG of 19. And it was the one time I actually hurt myself, and I thought I was going to have to pull out of competition because of barbell rows. And so now every time I see those programmed, I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. We're not going to be doing that.
No more barbell rows.
It's dumb, right? Out of all the stuff I do, it's just stuff like that. So it's just, it's walking up the stairs and you just twing something or something stupid like that. But hilariously, as far as actually getting hurt doing strongman after all this time, now after we have this conversation, watch something ridiculous happen. But no, it's just, it hasn't been like that at all. And I'm not sure if it's when you're doing, your events or whatever, you're really actually focused on it. You know, you're really hyper aware of everything. And when you're kind of, you know, doing accessories or walking somewhere, you're not super paying attention. And I'm not sure if that's kind of why, but hilariously, I've really never super injured myself doing any actual strongman event out of everything that I've done over years and years. So, I mean, there's some irony in that, I'm sure.
That's fortunate. I mean, I had a twinge in my back the other day shoveling this 2 feet of snow we got in.
Yes, sir. Yep. And that's the thing, just like stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, vacuuming actually hurts my back. My husband is like, no, it doesn't. I'm like, he's like, you can deadlift 500 pounds and you can vacuum. Like, no, vacuuming actually super hurts. So, I don't know what that's about, but yeah.
Does he compete as well?
No, he is a very big supporter of the whole thing, and he has learned how to be my videographer for the events, which is very important that you have someone go that knows how to video your events. Yeah. So I have taught him, I've trained him how to be the world's best videographer. So he enjoys going and he enjoys watching, but this actual thing is not really his speed. He likes to boat and to fish.
Nice.
Not the same. You know,
hey, we all have our our own kind of strongman activities. I do the laundry lift. I do the toddler lift.
He actually broke his leg a couple of years ago in the Army. He had legit totally broke his leg, and so he actually can't even if he wanted to squat, he can't get even remotely close to parallel. He literally has all this metal in his kneecap, and he couldn't do it anyway. So he is not attempting to do any strongman stuff anytime soon. It's fine with me, though. We'd probably kill each other training.
Fair enough. All right, cool. And then my last question is just take this opportunity to tell everybody how they can follow you, anything you'd like to promote, sponsorship, anything.
Sure. So my Instagram, which is full of terrible training videos, basically don't get too excited over that. It's see, I'm very motivational, is filthy_FITHEN, which is FITHEN. And then You Look Like a Man is all of those words with periods in between. So it's you period, look like a man period with periods in between. Those are my 2 main social media accounts that I'm on. And so if people want to get in contact with me, those are the best ways to do it.
All right, cool. And if I go start liking posts on You Look Like a Man, that doesn't mean I encourage that sort of behavior, does it?
No. It's funny when you have kind of a negative, an account that's like that. People are like, I'm liking this post, but not because I like it, but because So we get the whole thing. It is kind of a funny thing, but we talk about a lot of interesting stuff on there sometimes.
All right, cool. So once again, thank you for spending all this time with me. We talked about so many interesting things. My audience is going to love it. And thanks once again. Maybe we'll do it again sometime after your next comp.
Absolutely. I appreciate it very much. Thank you for having me on.
Awesome. Have a great night.
You too.
All right. Thanks. So if you like this video and haven't done so yet, please consider subscribing using that button right there. And also stay tuned for some other videos that you might love blooping up right there. This one is the one that YouTube thinks that you will like the best, and this one is the one that I think you will like the best. As always, share this with everyone, and until next time, ciao, homie.